I must admit, it surprised me that you, out of all people, wanted to have a quote-unquote tea party with me. What's the occasion? Just to hang out? Well, not that I'm complaining. I could use a break from Sebastian's constant scheming and his knack for dragging me into yet another one of his brilliant plans. Honestly, if I had a galleon for every time he said, "Trust me, Ominis, I've got it all figured out," I could retire comfortably in Hogsmeade and never have to deal with cursed relics or secret passages again. Oolong tea. Someone's feeling fancy today, aren't they? Well, now that we're here, I have some juicy gossip to spread. Just make sure it stays between us, though. Can I trust you? What am I saying? If you're able to keep Sebastian's secret from everyone, you can certainly keep mine. Well, rumour has it that Poppy and Gareth are more than just partners in potions class. A fellow Slytherin told me they found them snogging under the Quidditch stands. That's a pair I wasn't expecting. I mean, really, can you imagine? Poppy, with her endless compassion for creatures, she'd adopt a dragon if she could. And Gareth, who would undoubtedly try to turn said dragon into an experimental brew. The poor thing would end up belching bubbles instead of fire. It's not that I think they'd be a disaster. No, far from it. Poppy would keep Gareth grounded, and he might coax her out of the forest for something other than rescuing a mooncalf. But you need a miracle, or perhaps Felix Felicis, to get her to tolerate his endless tinkering with potions. I can already hear her now. Gareth, I don't think Measlefur is supposed to fizz like that. Still, stranger things have happened at Hogwarts. Who knows? Maybe opposites do attract. Or maybe Poppy just hasn't yet realized the peril of trusting a Weasley with a cauldron. Either way, it promises to be entertaining. I sincerely hope things do go well for them. However, I'm willing to bet that Weasley will somehow screw it up like he always does with his potions. Could you add more sugar, please? Now, I wasn't going to bring it up, but since we're all being so wonderfully candid today, have you heard about Duncan Hobhouse's latest attempt at bravery? Oh, it's a classic. The poor boy decided to face his fears by venturing into the Forbidden Forest. Yes, that Duncan Hobhouse. The one who asked you to grab a venomous tentacular leaf and tried to convince everyone he was the one who did so. The one who once screamed because a puff skein rolled too close to him. Supposedly, he wanted to retrieve some rare moss for Professor Sharp, but from what I hear, he barely made it past the tree line before he encountered... wait for it. A particularly aggressive butterfly. He came running back to the castle, swearing it had fangs. Fang-winged butterflies? Honestly, where does he get these ideas? And then there's Amit Thakar. Oh, Amit, bless his stargazing soul. You'd think someone so obsessed with constellations would keep his feet firmly on the ground. But no. He's been using the astronomy tower to, how shall I put it, observe more than just the night sky. Apparently, he's been spying on the Quidditch pitch during practices, taking meticulous notes on team formations and tactics. He claims it's for academic research on group dynamics, but let's be honest, it's clearly an elaborate ploy to impress the Gryffindor team, or perhaps one player in particular. The stars aren't the only thing catching his eye these days, if you take my meaning. It's amusing, really. Duncan, terrified of butterflies, and Amit, trying to play Cupid with a telescope. Between the two of them, they're practically the comic relief of the castle. Not that I'm one to judge, of course. but it does make one wonder what on earth would Hogwarts do without such shining examples of unique ambition. Oh, by the way, have you heard of Sebastian's latest attempt at winning a girl over? Hilarious. It was during a Hogsmeade trip. Oh, Sebastian's idea of flirting is charming, in theory. He tried flirting with a 7th year out of all people by offering her a compliment. Now, I won't repeat the exact words, but let's just say it involved a dark magic reference. Because of course he couldn't resist bringing it into the mix. The poor girl looked so bewildered. She didn't know whether to laugh or run. And honestly, I wouldn't have blamed her either. And then, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, he tried to salvage the situation with a charming spell. Yes, a spell, because what better way to win someone's heart than with a flick of the wand? Needless to say, it didn't exactly go as planned. The spell backfired and he ended up with a lopsided smile that made him look, well, less than charming. Oh, us Slytherins always think we know what we're doing until we don't. Speaking of Slytherins, Imelda Reyes had a particularly funny accident last week. You know, I shouldn't be telling you this because it happened to her in private. And she thought that just because I'm blind, I didn't know what was going on, but... Alright, fine, I'll tell you. There was a day, an unfortunate day, where she was asked to teach flying lessons. She had her eyes set on mastering the most daring maneuvers. She soared through the skies, weaving through the air with her usual grace, until she didn't. She attempted a sharp dive, pushing her broom to its limits. It was flawless at first, or at least she thought it was. But pride, as they say, comes before a fall. Her broom sputtered mid-flight, and before she could correct her broom posture, Imelda found herself dangling from a window, several feet above the ground. The thing is, no one else saw it. The class was so focused on their own flights, so preoccupied with their turns and dives, that no one noticed Imelda hanging there, flailing for balance. You know how I'm always sitting alone during those classes. I was the only one there to witness that accident. I heard the gasp, the muffled curse. I felt the moment of panic before she used Accio and got her broom back. I don't think she realized that. Even though I can't see it, I can tell it happened. At least I have some blackmail in case she wants to act out like she usually does. Alright, as much as I love to sit here and chat with you, I must be on my way. I have an essay to turn in tomorrow. But hey, let's do this again sometime.